Hey everyone, welcome to this video. It's another video about Switzerland and I decided to make this as you seem to have liked my first video about Switzerland a lot. And there, if you haven't watched it, I show my day as a student in the private international school in Switzerland. And yeah, here's another video. Today I'm gonna tell you more about general things about the school, how I got there, how I was able to go there, what's the difference between that school and the public schools that I went to. So yeah, it's gonna be more informational, I guess. And if you have any questions about this, you can ask in the comments and I'll be happy to answer. Before we start, I just wanted to add that I'm not in that school anymore. I went there last year and this year I'm in school in Poland. So yeah, let's start. At the end of the video I have a surprise for you, so make sure to watch till the end. So the number one question that I got is what was my school called and where it is. And firstly, I just want to say that in Switzerland, comparing to other countries, there are many luxury international private schools, and the one I went to is an example of such a school. And what I'm gonna say in this video, I think also applies to many schools like that in Switzerland. So I don't want to make it about that school specifically. It's going to be more general, informational. So my school is called Le Regent International School in Crans-Montana, and as you might have figured out by the name, it's in the French-speaking region of Switzerland in Crans-Montana. It's actually available for students of nearly all possible ages, because I think you can start it when you're 4 and yeah, you can finish it when you're 19. So if you want, you can spend all your life there. And I'm not sure how the curriculum looks like for primary school, but I'm aware that they study in 2 languages. It's a bilingual French-English school, so I think it's, very cool to be so young and know so many languages. The secondary school is mostly English speaking. If you're younger, you can do GCSEs, and if you're all older like me, you can do International Baccalaureate, IB, and this is what I was studying there. I went there for my first year of IB. You can study plenty of subjects. I'm gonna get to the subjects I studied later, but now let's talk about how I actually got there. So in fact, I was fortunate enough to have a full scholarship for that school, so I didn't have to pay the fee, but I have to cover other costs like my uniform, insurance, flights, pocket money, stuff like that. I can actually show you my uniform if you want. I have it here. Okay, so that's the skirt that I wore. You also had to wear a shirt, white shirt every day. And here's my, oh my god, I don't know how to show it. So that was my school uniform. Yeah, I know that now they changed the uniform. It's actually quite prettier. So this is how I was able to go to that school. And now how I got there. Basically, I took part in the Polish national competition called Cambridge Class, and there the main prize was the scholarship for another school in Switzerland, the Lausanne American School in Lausanne. And yeah, I got the 3rd place there, which meant I was only able to go for a camp, in a summer camp in that school, but I was recommended as a student, I guess, to another school, and that's the school I ended up with. So that's the story. Then I had to fill in the papers for application. I had to get some references and take the entrance exams, and then I was in. I think this procedure is much easier if you can pay the fee. Now, I was talking about the cost previously, so I checked the website, and according to that, the current fee for international diploma, so the 2 last years of high school, while living in the boarding house, is 94,400 Swiss francs, so $99,000 a year. I would say it's quite typical for schools like that. Myself, I was shocked when I first heard it, because yeah, I'm gonna just leave this here, but I think it's very typical for schools like that, and other schools Le Rosey or maybe Aiglon College, they're even more expensive. So this is just how it is, I guess. Now, I talked about the cost and how I got there. So what's the difference between this school and the public school? And for your reference, besides this Swiss experience, I spent my whole life in Polish public schools, like normal schools, which looked like that, more or less. And so, scratched walls, like bubble gums everywhere, technology never working, like whole stuff getting destroyed all the time. So that was my experience before, and I think when it comes to certain areas, like my expectations were pretty low because of that. So I would say that the first difference that I noticed was how pretty the school was. Like everything was new, like well made, like good quality, and the views outside were amazing, and like the place the school is situated is really, really beautiful. And yeah, that was the huge difference for me, and everything looked clean, neat, like that was a really like the first visible difference. And then what kind of impressed me was that everything seemed to be just working properly, I guess. So firstly, it was the most technologically advanced school that I saw in my life. Every student and teacher had the school laptop, and they were the MacBook Airs, I think, like those new ones. And because of that, like, everything operated well with the iOS system. Also, in every classroom, there was this big TV, and if you wanted to display a presentation or like play a video, something like that, you could just use AirPlay and do it directly without even getting up. So that was pretty amazing for me, because I remember all the problems with, having a presentation in the class and like, going somewhere to take the speakers. Like it never worked in my other schools, and I think the organization of like technology was better. Also, I know that the younger kids had iPads, so I guess that's pretty cool as well. Another thing that was quite different is sports, which were actually very nice, and I think that's where my passion for sports really started. Firstly, you could choose what sports you want to do. So, for example, in the first term of me studying there, I could choose between basketball, squash, gym, and volleyball. I chose volleyball and gym. And yeah, that's what I was doing. And then after the classes, we also had extracurriculars, and you had plenty extracurriculars to choose from. For example, like Mandarin, MUN, rock climbing, knitting, film club, theater, like honestly whatever you wanted, I guess, was available. So that was really cool, because I didn't have like classes like that in the school before. Now, in terms of the school itself, I took the following subjects. I wrote them down so I don't, mess up. English A, SL, French B, HL, Math AA, HL, Economics HL, History HL, and Biology SL. And when it comes to the classes, all of the groups were pretty small. For example, I was the only one in my economics class. That was quite a shock for me. Then in history, I had there was me and the other guy, Gergely, if you're watching this, I don't know. Have a nice day. I think I had most people in biology, and these were maybe like 10. That has its advantages and disadvantages. I think it really forces you to pay attention all the time, because you can't, you need to be focused, because you need to be able to answer the question, especially if you're one of the 2 people in the class. You need to be focused all the time. Guys, we have a visitor because my dog started to knock. Yeah, sorry. So another advantage of being in this really small groups is that the teacher actually checks your work quite quickly. So all your homework gets checked, and if you write an essay or if you have a test, they check it really fast, like in the matter of days. I think that having bigger groups is better for discussions and debates, but yeah, for studying it was pretty nice. And Overall, comparing to the public school experience, I think that studying in Switzerland was really way less stressful because we didn't have that many tests, exams. Like, I remember in my previous school, I had a test like 5 days a week. Seriously, like every week, and that was really draining mentally. And there, it was mostly based on activities in the class, on maybe like homework, your own prep. Yeah, I guess that's a big plus. Now, when it comes to the organization of the boarding house, actually, not that many students were in the boarding house. I mean, maybe 70% of the students were in the boarding house, mostly because people were Swiss or had some house nearby. They were just coming back home for the weekends, or they were just day students. I know it's quite different in other schools. Like, I heard that in LAS, actually a vast majority of students are boarding students. I guess it depends on the school a lot. Now, the boarding house was the same building as school, so that's pretty useful because, it took you like 5 minutes to get to the class. Unfortunately, we weren't really allowed to come back to our rooms during the school time. You could still kind of do it, but technically not. The houses were separate for the girls and the boys, and we could go to the other house, but we could never visit the rooms of the other gender. That's just how the rules were. And what else can I say? So the rooms looked more or less like that. I will show you some photos here, or like a video. So you basically had two beds, two desks, and some shelves in each room. And when it comes to the bathroom, it was separate, but you shared it with another room. So there were kind of two rooms, and between them there was a bathroom. And I forgot to write it down on the list of the things I wanted to say, but also if you were in the boarding house, your weekends were kind of organized, because of course you had the meals, throughout the day, but often we had like some activities. So in the winter it was usually skiing, like either both of the days or one day, but also we had some trips like to the cities nearby. Actually there were many activities, and sometimes you could choose which one you're doing, or you could choose to do none if you had a lot of work. We also had trips quite regularly, so like once a term I think there was like a hiking trip which lasted from 2 to 3 days. I went on 2 trips like that. I was supposed to go on 3. They were mandatory, but I sprained my ankle, so I couldn't go on the winter one. And we also had one trip to like really no hiking, just visiting a city. We went to Florence, and that was really nice. Here you have some photos. So that's it for the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, you can either ask them in the comments so I make a video about it, or if it's more like personal, you want to, go to some school there, maybe I can help you. You can DM me on my Instagram. Here's my Instagram. And as I said in the beginning, I have a little bit of surprise for you. I'm not in the school anymore, but some of you asked me to show more of the school itself, and I asked my friend to film a vlog. So what we're probably gonna do is have a little like interview with her while she's showing you her day in the school, like the same one I went to because I know her from there. It's Cindy. If you saw the last video, you know her. So yeah, stay tuned. Make sure to subscribe, like this video if you liked it. If not, tell me in the comments, and yeah, see you later. Bye.